I want to start with a show of hands. How many of you have heard the advice, be well-rounded? Yeah, we all have. It's everywhere. Our parents say it, our peers say it, and the tiny voice in the back of our head while we're scrolling through everyone's achievements online says it too. Do a little bit of everything, stay involved, and keep your options open. So we try, we stack our schedules, spread ourselves thin, and tell ourselves we're doing it right. And for a while, it feels responsible and productive. And then, something clicks. Something feels different from the rest. You're excited about it. You want to spend time on it, not because it would look good on the resume, but because you genuinely can't stop. That's your brain telling you, this is it. But here's where most of us get stuck, because instead of listening to that signal, we treat it like everything else on our list. We gave it the same time and energy as everything else, because that's what we've been told balance looks like. So we keep every commitment, honor every obligation, and quietly starve ourselves of the one thing that actually excites us. But what if we did the opposite? What if, instead of pushing our passions to the margin, we went all in? I want you to think about anyone who's actually changed the world. Were they well-rounded, or were they obsessed? Steve Jobs didn't dabble in design between all of his other interests. He went all in and completely changed the way the world interacts with technology. And then there's my personal hero, Friedrich Nietzsche, who most of you have probably never heard of. He obsessed over isolating a mysterious substance from pus silk bandages, trying to understand what it is. And he worked in freezing conditions for hours at a time to keep it from degrading. Nobody thought it mattered, and nobody knew what it was. But what he isolated was DNA, the molecule of life. The entire foundation of ancestry tests and cancer treatments and modern genetics, all because one person refused to let go of something the rest of the world hadn't seen yet. Now these people, they weren't well-rounded, they were lopsided, and it's empowering. I know this because I lived the wrong way, though I didn't know it then for years. Back in middle school, I was trying everything from newspaper and debate to even robotics, just for the sake of doing that. And it's great to explore different things, so long as you're asking yourself what actually energizes you. But I wasn't doing that. I was just collecting activities because it felt safer than committing to one. But then, all of that changed in 8th grade. In 8th grade, some scientists came to talk to our earth science class about the research they were doing, the questions they were chasing, and the things they were discovering. And I remember thinking, wait, people get to do this as a job? I could spend my life discovering the intricacies of how the world works? It was at that moment that I realized I knew exactly what I wanted to do. It just took some time because I didn't know how to get there. But that dream came to life this past year. I got to work in a lab studying Pseudomonas, a little bacteria that lives in the lungs of cystic fibrosis patients, trying to better understand how it communicates and why it behaves differently in different environments. And slowly but surely, I started reading research papers. Fun. I started thinking about signaling pathways when I should have been finishing my calculus homework. And it was at that moment that I realized that I had become completely obsessed. So after realizing what had happened, I stepped back from some things that used to feel like opportunities, but started to feel like obligations. But instead of feeling like I was closing doors, it finally felt like I was walking through the right one. Because being focused isn't limiting, it's liberating. So I want all of you to think about something. What makes you lose track of time? What would you keep doing even if it didn't count for any award or honor or line on your resume? Maybe it's performing, or building things, or unlocking the puzzles of the brain, or solving climate change. Whatever it is, go all in. Because what I've learned is that the world doesn't need more people who are okay at everything. The world needs more people who are completely devoted to the things they care about. Artists who have to create. Engineers who see problems and can't rest till they solve them. Scientists who can't stop asking questions about the world around them. And writers who write like they need to breathe. Being well-rounded may help you fit in, sure. But being profoundly passionate about the things that you care about is how you make an impact, stand out, and build a life that actually feels like yours. Join me in being unapologetically lopsided. The world is waiting for what only you can create. Thank you.